Sometimes the irony is just altogether too palpable. And a couple news stories I heard this week really illustrate this. One from our dearly loved press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, which I'm surprised she hasn't changed to Levite yet because I think she deemed that proper and fit into her character. But her talking about the Gulf of Mexico and getting all upset and all tied up because people are failing to recognize and mention it as the Gulf of America now, as deemed by our president and dearly loved ruler, that this is what it's going to be called now. And that this is how we need to identify it because this is what we claim it to be in its identity. All from a group of people that refused to recognize the pronouns of individuals that they wanted to identify by. Is there any harm in calling it the Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico? Not really. Does it hurt anyone to recognize by someone by their chosen pronouns? No. It's just a respect thing to be done to them. But they don't want to issue respect to people, so why should we issue respect to them and acknowledge their just fallacies and renaming things just to make them feel better and show their blatant racism in this world? The other thing is our old friend Pete Hagsworth, best described as the guy that's completely drunk at the restaurant hitting on the waitress in front of his wife, sitting there getting 5 bottles deep and deciding he's going to rename Fort Bragg again. Change it from Fort Liberty to Fort Bragg. But from someone that's so anti-woke, he's not going to put it under Braxton Bragg's name anymore because that wouldn't be right to have a Confederate general's name over an American military institute, someone that succeeded from the Union, separated, fought a war against the United States of America, and put their name on a fort. That would be unwoke. We need to be wake, so we are going to go out and find the name of someone else, and probably in a drunken stupor, demanding that we find someone that served in the military under the name Bragg, and throwing that on there. No one with any really distinguished accomplishments or anything like that. Not a general, not a colonel or anything like that. Just some random guy, just because it fits in there and comes into it. And I think it just kind of illustrates how much intertwined the thought process and how similar it is between politics and religion in this country, especially on the extreme right. That it's all about what's good for me is not good for you. Don't judge me for what I'm doing because I'm going to point all fingers back at you. It reminds me of a story I know of a guy that was at work and he was causing all sorts of shit, stirring up all sorts of drama, making up all sorts of stories. And the boss confronted on it. And basically the boss told him, mind your own business. All this stuff you're stirring up is unfounded, unsubstantiated. Mind your own business. And this narcissist responded back, how can I mind my own business when I'm too worried about what other people are doing? If that doesn't describe what the Christian right and the administration's doing right now, if they could just let people live and live happily and accept them to be good, decent people and not constantly worry what they're doing in their bedrooms, what they're doing in their houses, what they're doing on their own time, and not having to police and legislate any of that, everything would be great and dandy in this country. But they're too busy worried about you, that you're going to do what you want to do and get your happiness and your freedom and your acceptance, because that will overthrow their control and rule. They need to have absolute control, like a true narcissist. And when that's stripped away, they got nothing left. So they're going to keep fighting. And they're going to be anti-woke, but yet as woke as anyone else. And they're going to be anti-affirming of how people want to identify. But again, get pissed off because we won't recognize the identifications that they want to put on things. It's ironic, don't you think?